little bit here and talk about how the mainstream media is basically a finely tuned, choreographed Decepticon machine to deceive the people, okay? And we've all got to understand that we're being divided from policy, from forces on high, those that create the policies we have to live under, which is basically this New World Order globalist cabal and all their associated minions and sycophants. This is a brood of ruthless vipers void of all compunction. And, and now America's a nation under the spell of abject delusion. We don't know what the hell's going on, and we've got to figure out what the hell's going on here. Okay, we've all got to get to the meat of the matter. What is going to solve humanity's problems? And I'm telling you right now, what's going to solve our problems is universal prosperity. This is it. This is the closest we can come. And we could have that tomorrow. Tomorrow. Okay? Because there's no shortage of stuff that equals prosperity, because that's what it all comes down to, as defined by the world. Now, if we're talking about the loftier, higher meaning of prosperity, like Jesus said, store your treasures in heaven where neither rust nor moth destroys and thieves don't break in and steal. That's another subject. That's another story. Right now, I'm talking about Earth. I'm talking about the problems we have, the social problems, our economic problems. And I was talking about Bob Lisner, my high school U.S. government and U.S. history teacher, and what he said was basically that politics and money are the same thing. So, you could get into, well, it's geopolitical, but it all is about money. You notice we cause all these problems. It's all related to money. South of the border, down in Brazil's got huge problems. Venezuela's got huge problems. All these problems are traceable to corruption. It's all about these money lovers, the top money lovers, stealing the wealth of the nations. This is what they do. They just don't care. These people are the ones I'm talking about, acting without compunction. So, they might not even know they're in with the New World Order crowd. All they know is that they like where they are. They're in these high positions of stature. The people can't stand them. They know that they're corrupt. They're thugs and thieves. And they're criminals. Basically, that's it. That's what we're talking about here. And the politics and the economics are one and the same. We've got to understand that. So if you want to gain control of the political arena, you've got to gain control of the economic arena. So what are we talking about here? At the end of the day, we're talking about the money printing class. And I'm not just talking about these people that deliberately debase your currency, manipulate markets so that they can steal your wealth and impoverish the masses. It's not just the dollars, the physical dollars. I'm not talking about printing. It's all digital now. It doesn't matter. They can steal way more easily. They can just digitally steal trillions of dollars than they can physically. It doesn't matter to these people. Nonetheless, the power is there. The physical dollars are the evidence. If they want to skirt scrutiny, they want the physical money, because anything digital can be hacked and traced, and we can say, hey, this is what's going on here with these people. They're spending all this money. This guy's buying luxury yachts and mansions all over the world, and it's all on digital record here. So they use cash, and everybody, hey, they're more than happy to shut up. Hey, I just accepted $500 billion cash, and hey, it's great, man. It's several pallets full of cash I got in my storage unit here, and I'm fine, just as long as we keep printing these Federal Reserve notes. They don't go out of style. So that's the biggest threat. You see, taking over the money printing operation, which would include all the digital, because it's measured in what? Dollars. Everything is measured against dollars. Okay, and if you live in England or you live in Ireland or some other country that uses a different kind of currency, it's still, you can measure it against dollars. A dollar is the world reserve currency. It's often been called the petrodollar. It's tied to oil and all that. But look, I don't want to get into the minutia, okay? Because there's just, one fraud after another out there that we could talk about. And I don't want credit default swaps, derivatives, all this kind of nonsense out there. Negative interest rates, one scheme after another. What do they call it? Quantitative easing, okay? Yeah, it's all minutia. It's just all more forms of manipulation, of fraud. And at the end of the day, though, it has the same effect. It keeps creating this wealth disparity. And people out there that say, hey, my numbers are still growing faster than my currency is being debased, faster than they're raising my water or my electric or, my cost for clothing or other energy costs or, whatever. I own my own home and, I'm not stuck paying rent or, whatever. I'm not stuck paying this high mortgage and, maybe I've got an adjustable rate mortgage that, hey, I'm scared to death. If they ever raise the interest rates a half a point, I'm doomed. I'm going to lose my home to these vulture capitalists out there. All this kind of nonsense, these reverse mortgages. They get one scheme after another to keep this thing going. And they've been very successful. But really, this is balls out oppression. That's what these people are doing. They've abandoned any concern, any compunction about what they do to the population. They just don't care. They say, well, that's the problem of the social welfare system. Be happy. You got there's a huge segment of employment right there in the welfare industrial complex, okay, that would be out of work if you ended poverty. Do you understand the madness? The prison industrial complex, well, so much of that crime, the vast majority of those criminals were induced through financial desperation. If we prevented them from being financially desperate, it would have saved the taxpayers billions of dollars. That's a fact. Look it up. Look it up. And if the debt, say, no, we're never going in the red, ever. That's against the Constitution. We're not going to allow that. My God, oppression is against the Constitution. Understand what we're tolerating here in America. And if we don't stand up and say no to these people, we're going to get more and more and more. We've got to fight the good fight. Win, lose, or draw, you fight the good fight. You get in the face of those who are oppressing us, okay, that are dividing us. And if it rubs them the wrong way, too bad. That's not the object. But the object is to parent these people, to tell them what's what, to tell them we're not going to tolerate it. If I tolerate it, then I deserve what I get. Just like, what was it, Jefferson that said, the degree of tyranny, of oppression you live under is the degree you accept, that you tolerate. So no, we're not going to keep tolerating this. We want our cost of living to go down. We want the worth of our currency to go up. And here's how we're going to do it. Logically, by not allowing fraud. This is what we're going to do. We're going to hold your feet to the fire, and we're going to demand accountability. We're going to demand oversight. We're going to demand check balances, and we're going to start seeing the worth of our currency going up in one steady trajectory for decades and decades until people don't care about money anymore. It's worth so damn much. Everybody's so prosperous they can have anything they want. Nobody's under the gun. Nobody should be under the gun. If you believe anybody needs to be under the gun, you believe that we need Big Brother, then you need to be that Big Brother. You need to. I'd be a bad authoritarian. I'd be really bad. I don't want to be. I want to be the opposite of that. I'm on everybody's side. I'm not the guy that's going to withhold any good thing from you or your family. The question is, would you withhold any good thing from me or my family? Okay? Would you withhold prosperity from me if you could? If it meant how many people out there that are prosperous that'd be happy if it meant they got to keep their prosperity as defined by money, material wealth in this world, worldly wealth, riches, their success. If it's half the population has to go in order for you to keep your money, how many people out there would say, fine, I don't care, just so it's not me and my family, right? That's the way we are. We've been turned into monsters because the people ruling over us are monsters. And we've got to get in their face over and over and over. And that's why I say, I know I'm hated. I'm too bad. But you know But I've got to do what I've got to do. While I've got a voice, God gave me the wherewithal to speak out against evil, to speak out against injustice, and to take a stand for the downtrodden, those that are having a harder time contending with this evil social Darwinian system. And that's what it is. They keep raising the bar, right? Make it harder and harder. Are you going to justify that? You're justifying wealth disparity, income disparity, inequality, and there's no limit. Once you prescribe to that philosophy, you lose all standing. You've got no clout. You've got no voice. Okay, you're nobody. Then you're on the side of those that prescribe to inequality, to ever-growing wealth disparity. Do you understand how that works? By default. You can't stand up against these people once you compromise. You open that door to all these demons to rush in and take over your thought system, your belief system. The things that you're confused then. You're in Babylon. You don't know right from wrong anymore. You're cleaving to the wrong class of people. Now, I give a lot of people breaks out there. I believe Alex Jones is a really righteous dude. And I believe he wants what's best for everybody. And if you see, the problem is we're all just so screwed up from birth. If our parents are screwed up, and our teachers are screwed up, all our peers are screwed up, everybody we meet screwed up because we're just marinated in nonsense and injustice and confusion and ignorance. The Babylon effect has taken us, so none of us know. None of us understand that the things you believe right now are going to have no relevance. If you start changing things, and we see this snowball effect, we start seeing things changing. We have an appreciable period of time with sound money. When you see it's going up in the aggregate, relative to all the commodity, the market basket of goods that the economists talk about. When you combine all those things, especially the basic essential human needs, food, shelter, water, energy, all those things you want dirt cheap. Who could say you don't? Who could say that's not a good thing? So let's take that from there. Take from that perspective and see how far we've gone the other direction and say, no, 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 no. We demand explanations. We demand logic. We demand that this whole thing progresses in the direction that we, the people, want it to progress. Okay, and that can't be a system that works for some people and not for others. It's got to work for everybody. Do you have any idea how much these dubious wars are costing us? For what? To prop up a failed Ponzi scheme economy? To prop up the Wall Street? To prop up the military-industrial complex so that we can have 22 veterans a day coming home and taking their own lives? Is that what it's all about? The debt? How much is that costing us? So am I a bleeding heart liberal? Am I a fiscal conservative? It doesn't matter. Do you understand? I just want the problems fixed. I'm frustrated. I know the problems can be fixed. Yes, and I get angry. And some people say, oh, well, that's bad. That's one of the 7 deadly sins and all this. Hey, no, it isn't. What does the Bible say? It says, be angry. Just don't let the sun go down on your anger, okay? I know in Dante's Inferno, one of the 7 circles or the 9 circles of hell, that's anger. Well, that's right, but you see, it's righteous indignation. It's not self-righteous indignation. It is righteous indignation. You're right to be indignant. When you see a bully picking on somebody and you stand up, you get angry, and you intervene, what have you done? You've done a beautiful thing in the sight of God. It's like Jesus turning over the money changers' tables. He said he knew that those people were being duped. They were being told, hey, you know what? This is good. This will benefit you. Oh, that thing that's on sale. It's like modern day. It's like, hey, use your credit card. That thing that's on sale right now, if you're being smart, if you use your credit card now and buy that thing, you're saving money than if you paid cash, because you could pay for it over time and you can actually get it. You see, this is how they work. This is why there's so many people investing. They invest with other people's money out there. You think of all the people that have an interest in just the housing industry, okay? Investors, flippers, speculators, property managers, landlords, the innocent little homeowner, lenders, real estate agents. Do you understand why they have an interest in manipulating that market? because they make money. The higher the numbers go, the more they make. So that's why. So we've got it's collusion of these giant special interest groups that are colluding. So it becomes just this hydra monolithic monopoly that is just conspiring against the best will of the people. It is fascist. The government becomes no more than a special interest group working against the best will of the people, when the people themselves need to be the ones that are the special interest group, not some of the people. All